everyone, welcome to another book review Wednesday, and today I'm going to be briefly diving into The Swiss Family Robinson by Jonathan Weiss. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. And this one is rather famous and well known among people, I think, in a general sense, at least those that are more familiar with the classic literature. And I think there are certain ways in which you could argue that that is valid. But basically, this particular book follows none other than the Swiss Family Robinson, who end up being on a vessel that is stricken, and they're sort of left abandoned, and then eventually find an island to where in which they inhabit and sort of try to survive and kind of get themselves on their feet. And in doing so, they come across a variety of different animals. There's various conflicts that ensue, and you sort of end up seeing sort of the conclusion that ends up happening from the whole ordeal that they have, as far as being on the island is concerned. I think this one in particular gets fairly well recognized for the fact that, again, it tries to focus in on the family. In particular, them sort of all working as a team and sort of trying to figure out how they can survive on the island, and how they sort of use the supplies that they had from the ship as well as on the island to sort of make a home for themselves. And you sort of see those kind of, I guess, family values that a lot of people sort of like to kind of emphasize sometimes in their material. And here it's done fairly effectively, I would say. If you include all of the family members, you have Fritz, who's the oldest brother, followed by two other brothers, Ernest and James, and then the mom's name's Elizabeth, and then the dad's name's William. So you get an overall good impression of all these people that are within the family, and you get a understanding as to how they sort of interact with each other and how they kind of ultimately end up sort of surviving this whole event that kind of ends up happening to them. And it's, I think, worth reading if you're sort of interested in those kinds of books, and if you want something that is a little bit more family focused. A lot of the times classical literature doesn't really focus or hone in on that angle, and it's sort of nice to see it done here. And it is rather interesting because, again, they kind of try to emphasize too that they are from Switzerland, and that's where they're sort of from, and they sort of declare kind of the island kind of New Switzerland at one point. So you do see that kind of cultural element maybe there as well. And it is one that I think ultimately works, although I would say that it's not necessarily, I think, one of the more enjoyable classics that I've read, only because I don't think it provides such a huge amount of insight into certain topics and themes. You know, it's kind of designed to be a little bit more simplistic, and I think that's only because, again, we're dealing sort of with a family dynamic, and you know, we're kind of dealing with a story that it is at least even common, even, I guess you could even say, back in the day, to sort of have these kinds of survival tales, and is even also common now to sort of tell these kinds of tales of being stranded on an island. But this was really, I think, one that was at least the first attempt into trying to kind of dive into that whole concept. Again, I'm sure there might have been others during the time that were similar to this one, but I think this one got in particular a lot of recognition and sort of sparked the imagination of other people to come up with various ideas as far as being stranded is concerned on an island. But I think that's really all I can say about this book without really giving too much away. It's pretty straightforward. It's I don't think designed to be that complicated compared to a lot of other material. Yeah, if there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.